Okay, today's lesson is looking at box plots, sometimes called box and whisker plots. They have various other names as well, uh, but I'll refer to them as box plots. So box plots are used in univariate data. This is data that only has one measure, so the weight of school bags, height, time spent on a cell phone. Interpreting univariate data, um, we can find statistics and comment on the similarities of different groups. So it's really important to look at. And a box plot is basically a visual way of presenting the quartiles um, and the median and some other values. So here's a short video that explains how it works. We've got a set of data. Here is our values. And first thing we're going to need is a scale. Notice how there's a break in the scale. First thing is we show the median as a line, the upper quartile as a line, and the lower quartile as a line. That creates a box. Then we show the minimum and the maximum as points, and we join them together with their line. So that's where the name box and whisker comes from. So we've got the box and we've got the whisker. Now you'll notice this is a vertical scale. There's no frequency or anything like that on this scale because it'd be the only thing would be if there was a different group, you would need a label. I've talked about the break, that all scales should start and continue from 0 unless you're told otherwise with the break. Then from this, we can also calculate the range in the interquartile range, which is obviously the maximum, take away the minimum, which is 65. Now the range is shown from the minimum all the way to the maximum. So visually we can see what the range looks like. The interquartile range, upper quartile take away the lower quartile, is 26 in this case, which again is the distance between these boxes. So that's a box and whisker. It can be horizontal or it can be vertical, which I will show you in the next slide. So, and we use them to compare data. The big thing that you'll see in this diagram slightly different, that in the whiskers I've put a line for the maximum and minimum. There's no set rule for that. If you prefer to do it that way, it's quite nice to keep the consistency between the minimum, lower quartile, median, upper quartile, and the maximum all being lines. But when we refer to the range, we talk about the difference between the maximum and the minimum and the lower quartile and the upper quartile. So that's box and whiskers, which is relatively straightforward as long as you know what their values are. How do they relate to dot plots? Together with dot plots, they're a really good way of showing two different things. So our box and whisker graphs, or our box plots, can show the spread really well, but what we don't get an idea of is what the distribution looks like. So you can see here we've got a dot plot with 24 data points. We can use that to produce our box plot. So because it's 24 in total, that can be broken into two groups of 12 with the median in the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it means that the median is 67.5. Whatever the scale is. So now with the 12s, they break into sixes, so 6 and 6, with the lower quartile between the two of them. So I can count out 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it means that the lower quartile is actually there, which is 64. lower quartile, median, the LQ is equal to 64. Now with the upper quartile, I can do the same. It splits into 6, and we find the quartile between them. So I can count out my 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which goes there, which is the upper quartile. So that's pretty much where we got to last lesson and being able to find them. Now you might have noticed that I've put the I've made lines where those statistics are, and hopefully you've read between the lines as it were. That I can easily, if I was able to draw rule lines, I can easily make my box for my box and whisker graph on the same set of scales, and that's the beauty of using dot plots and box plots together. You can see that where the values are and what the values are, but we can also present our box and whisker plot as well. Don't forget our maximum, which we can make the whiskers to show the range as well. Now I've put this graph where it overlaps the dot plot, but sometimes they're done slightly above, sometimes they're done in a different color, all sorts of things, but you can quite easily put them together, and you'll see as we go through, you can find out different features within data sets with them both. So there's a task looking at putting a box and whisker graph together with a dot plot. So go back to your OneNote, the lesson page, go through the questions from the workbook, and then do the worksheet that's there as well.